Hi, I'm Mark McCarthy from the Star Herald, and welcome to Table Talk. Today we're joined by Scottsbluff's interim city manager, Rick Kuckkahn. Rick, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
You were the city manager here for a number of years. Tell us about that experience.
Well, I was here for about 18 years. Came from the East Coast, and that experience was very positive. I think we moved the city ahead. We had really good leadership during that period of time. It was, for me, it was very enjoyable. Like I said, I think we got a lot of important things done.
How did the interim position come about, and what were your thoughts when they asked you to come out of retirement and fill that gap?
Well, honestly, I can't say how it came about on this side of it, but I was approached, and at first my reaction was, well, you know, I'm retired and I really probably need to continue with that. But then giving it some thought, reflecting on that, in the 18 years that I was here, the city gave me so much. I mean, it was personally, professionally, it was a profound kind of experience. I wouldn't change a thing. I learned a lot. I hope that the community feels like I offered a lot, and there was a certain feeling of obligation, if you will, a loyalty that drove part of the decision. I think secondly, the staff that I was associated with in those 18 years was pretty much still in place, so there was a confidence level there. I felt comfortable. It wouldn't be a brand new group of people that I'd have to work with and kind of break that relationship in, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And then the political leadership, you know, you always want to, you don't want to come into a situation that's in an uproar or having a lot of problems per se. I wasn't up for that really, and I think looking at the political leadership, as with all councils, I think probably nationwide, there's certainly disagreements and things that are natural, and that's always been the case. But I think we have political leadership here that is interested in moving the community forward, and so that was another level of comfort that I had coming here.
So you've been able to see some of what's going on since you've been back. What do you see as the biggest issues that Scottsbluff is facing right now? Well,
there's several things. One of the things that I've gotten involved in early on is landfill. That's been an issue, I know, since I've been here. Honestly, I first came here, well, 18, 20 years ago. It was an issue then, and continued to be an issue throughout my tenure here, and it continues today. So there's nothing foreign in that particular arena, but it's something that we really need to focus on, concentrate on, and get some solutions in place so that we have a place to take our trash. It's pretty simple. It's not a very glamorous kind of thing, but it's really important. The second issue, of course, is finding a replacement for Nathan and continuing to carry the community forward. Someone that will enjoy living here, number one, is capable of handling the issues that are at hand. So we're looking, I think we'll be looking for someone with some experience, some level of experience, obviously, and have a consultant in place that is on the case. I'll say they're very they're aggressive. They want to get things done. They want to move ahead, and in fact, they'll be here next Monday and Tuesday, interviewing community members, the city council, staff members, to get a sense of not only the community and generally what's going on here, but also the kind of person that they want to come in and replace Nathan. There's some other kind of peripheral issues, I'll call them, what might be, you know, not as big of or consequential kind of things. I know we're working with the 23 Club. There's talk about aquatic center and some other things that are kind of at play here, and I would call those kind of the day-to-day sorts of things, not those big weighty kinds of issues that are very complex. So again, I feel what I'm trying to do here is carry these things forward as best I can, moving things forward. I don't expect to have them solved in my 3 months, 4 months here, however long I'm actually here, but certainly to keep those kind of things moving ahead. And I think that's one of the reasons when they were looking for someone to serve as an interim, they didn't want to bring in, the majority of the council didn't feel like they wanted to bring in a fresh face, because it takes a new person time to just get acclimated to things, and I feel that what I bring or what I offer here in addition to that is kind of hitting the ground running, to use an old worn out cliche, I guess, but to be able to hit things running, and people know me, and I've felt very welcome here, and I think there's a certain level of understanding what I'm about and confidence in what I'm capable of doing.
What do you see as your role as far as teaching or training the next city manager when they come in?
Well, we've talked about that, and depending upon level of experience, where they come from, familiarity with this area, certainly there will be a time when there's overlap, when I'll help transition a new person into the position. And again, that's just to kind of fast track some of the weightier issues, give some background so they don't step in it, and kind of introduce them to the community. Try to be a person that they can turn to and ask questions, and get a head start in acclimating themselves to the area.
Tell us a little bit about the staff. I know you talked some about the staff here at the city, but tell us about the people both on the staff and the people of Scottsbluff and what you've seen.
Yeah. Again, one of the reasons I came here is because I had a lot of confidence in the staff. I know most of them, and I've heard nothing but good about those that I don't know. So one of the really great things about this community is that we've been able to attract those kinds of highly qualified professionals that really do act in the best interest of the city, the best interest of the community. Having dealt with some of the boards and commissions, and that's much of the direct kind of citizen contact that you have, our boards and commissions are again experienced, have a real strong understanding, a thorough understanding of what the community is all about, and they're highly qualified. I mean, the level of, I'll call it expertise on our citizen committees and commissions is just amazing. They've got a lot of experience, number one, but then what they bring from their own private experiences is exceptional. We're very fortunate to have that core, I'll call it that core group of citizens and staff that guide a lot of the decision making, or help the council guide the decision making. And then generally the community at large, one of the things that I noticed when I first came here, and this is again 20 years ago, there's just a sort of can-do attitude. It's not throwing up a lot of roadblocks, but there's always people out there looking for solutions to problems, and getting the problem solved and moving on. So again, the level of comfort I had with all of that blend of things kind of makes my job easier. It's not easy, but it's easier when you have folks like that at your side, watching out for the best or the betterment of the community.
What are the biggest differences that you see in Scottsbluff now as opposed to when you came here 20 years ago?
It's grown, number one, which is important for any city. You want to have growth and development. I think we're doing a really nice job with economic development. That's another issue, I'll call it. You know, you want to keep that. I mean, you're losing enterprises every day, and you've got to replace them, and you want to grow that. You know, you want to add to that. So I think that effort's been exceptional. As far as changes go, not a lot of change, I'll say, other than the community continues to grow and care about itself. You look at a new high school, a renovated middle school. Schools are so important to attract people, quality people to the community. Look at the commercial enterprises, some of the industries, ALEC adding on just a huge growing kind of enterprise. Those are the kinds of, and I don't mean to pick out, you know, I'm not trying to peddle anybody here, but those are the ones that pop into mind, and are examples of many others that have come into the city, and businesses that have been here for years growing. That's key too. We have to encourage those who are already here, successfully conducting their businesses to grow. Add employees. You add 1 or 2 employees here and there, and that has a huge difference, or that makes a big difference in the success of the community. You look at downtown, for example, the rebuilding or resurfacing the road and putting in the park, the success of businesses in our downtown, all things that I guess I look at as changes, if you will. or continuation of that success.
So if you were selling Scottsbluff to a prospective business or a prospective resident coming in here, what would you tell them?
Well, I think, and this is an experience I had with a developer that came in, well, it was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, and he came into the office and said, you know, what's it about Scottsbluff? What is it all about? And he said, you know, I took a drive down Main Street, and if I drive down Main Street and it looks good, I'll come to the community. Mm-hmm. The core of the heart of, I would argue, Scottsbluff County is our downtown. I mean, our central area to the city, and our neighborhoods are all. We're concerned about the quality of housing. We contribute to the improvement in our housing stock. We provide incentive money for commercial enterprises to move here, industrial enterprises to move here. So what I would tell somebody is the community is growing, the community is thriving. We're in very good financial condition. As a city government, we're in very good financial condition. So really there's not, I can't think of many downsides to encouraging someone to move here, encouraging someone to start a new business or grow their existing business. There's not a lot of negatives that I can point to. Again, it's sort of the positive story about what's happening here, and will continue.
So when the time comes and the new city manager is found and you're no longer the interim, I know you've got a sailboat that you love.
Yeah,
Are you just going to sail the world? And
yeah.
What's your plans for retirement?
Well, I'll continue my retirement plan, which is to, I did purchase a 45-foot ocean-going cutter. It's a fairly good-sized boat, and sailed around the Great Lakes this past summer and lived on the boat for 8 months this past summer. It's dry dock now. It's on the hard, as the sailing community calls it. But we'll be putting that back in probably April or May, and then in the earlier part of the summer, we'll sail around the Great Lakes again, and then later in the summer and early fall, sail through Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, the Erie Canal, out the Hudson River, and go to the East Coast. I'll probably end up either in the Bahamas or in the Florida Keys somewhere. But so it's an ambitious,
not a bad way to go.
Ambitious plan, and I hope everything works out. But that's the long-term plan. I've been really busy in retirement, which is probably a good thing.
You've been helping your son in Colorado.
Doing
some things there.
Yeah, my son has some property in Colorado that he's improving, and he lives in Hayden. He's a appraiser, a certified general appraiser in steamboats. So I've been up there helping him out a little bit when it's cold like this. I can't obviously go out on the lake when it's frozen, so I've been helping him out.
Good timing for you then.
It's perfect timing, and actually this opportunity was perfect timing as well in terms of my kind of life plan. It fit perfectly, and you kind of look up and say, is this the right thing to do? And the answer was yes, this is the right thing to do at this point in my life.
Well, Rick, thank you for coming in. I wish you the best during your interim time here.
Thank you.
I really wish you the best in retirement.
Thank you very much, Mark.
For the Star Herald, I'm Mark McCarthy, and this has been Table Talk.